Hey everyone, I'm Courtney Courtwright. Thanks for joining me for 9 on the positive side, making sure students have the supplies they need for school. That's the goal of School Sacks for Kids. Now, Girl Scout Madison Wallace, you see her right there, she's behind the effort. She's asking for your help in donating items that you see here: pencil cases, binders, notepads, folders, rulers, and so much more. Her goal is to create a bag like this for 100 children who use the food pantry at the Salem United Methodist Church.
Some kids can't get school supplies for school. I can help the community solve the issue and help the parents with less stress too.
Now, you can drop off your donations at the church in Simpson at the office. For more information, including a list of supplies, just go to our website, WNCT.com. Weekly newspapers, they're an important part of small communities across our country. For one here in our state, it's been hitting the presses weekly for 150 years now. Chad Tucker introduces us to the one-man show behind the Stokes News.
This is 1945 editions of the Danbury Reporter, which are preserved here in the Found Lions in the Walnut Cove Library.
Here in Stokes County,
I keep seeing this. This is kind of interesting.
they've had a weekly newspaper for 150 years.
So it's the 8th oldest newspaper in North Carolina.
Like many local newspapers, the Reporter adjusted and merged. Today, it's called the Stokes News.
That's gone up. The second oldest weekly behind the Franklin Times in Lewisburg.
Decades of the Reporter, archives of daily local history
Miss Trexler resigns as county nurse.
have been preserved.
Libby Hanford, Salisbury. Yes. The Danbury Reporter was started in 1872 by Dr. John Pepper.
Much of what Dr. Pepper did 150 years ago, Neil Caldwell does today.
All right.
Weekly newspapers across America are today, for many, a one-man show.
You the celebrity this evening?
I am.
Good to see you, sir.
Yes, thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Caldwell is the reporter, photographer, and editor.
Appreciate you coming to Colorado.
You're welcome. Newspapers are struggling, and it happens really all over the country, all over the world. But I think they still have value to people.
Got to go to 2 different things Saturday morning, but
He started as a reporter on his 16th birthday,
I did get a couple pictures from that, so I'll put that in the caption.
and on this night, his 63rd birthday,
Yeah.
Happy birthday.
Thank you.
How are you?
he's spending it covering the King City Council
I
meeting.
think they start printing smaller.
I don't think the actual reporting has changed a lot. I think it's still people going out and talking to people and listening and going to meetings and taking notes. And I think, that's still pretty much the same.
Neil is on his own.
I am.
These small-town weekly newspapers have long been the glue of a community, connecting neighbors. With all the changes still to come, Neil hopes the heart and value of it all won't fade with the headlines.
When you see the finished product and you can hold that in your hand and say, oh, that turned out pretty well, that's very satisfying.
In Stokes County, North Carolina, I'm Chad Tucker.
Pre-dentistry, pre-law, wow.
And not all the duties are up to Neil. The paper does have one sports reporter, one ad salesman, and an office assistant.
Going in our yards is just like a hobby to me that we could carry on in the future. It helps you, your skills in cooking. You learn a lot of stuff that you didn't know before.
Sophomores are the masterminds behind impressive cakes in Corpus Christi, Texas. It's all part of the Skills USA competition. Now let's let you take a look at them. At this turtle, monkey, and circus cake, Mrs. Oak's culinary students came away with some great awards, and I guess you can see why. Look how impressive they are, earning blue ribbons, and 2 students even earned Best in Show.
I think that's probably my favorite part of teaching this, is because the kids in the beginning think there's no way that they could ever make anything like this. And they see their cake at state and how everybody is drawn towards them. They've got so much pride, and I love that part.
Mrs. Oak says she's going to keep all of these cakes for next year's class to show them what kind of standards they should strive for. It's a time to celebrate volunteers and those who have given back to our communities. The Golden Rule Lightkeeper and Fabric of Our Community Awards ceremony took place earlier this week in Jacksonville. The United Way and Onslow Civic Affairs Committee hosting this event, both aiming to honor those making a difference.
Being recognized puts a bigger impact on how much we appreciate what they do, because as a nonprofit agency, we could not do what we do without volunteers. Hands down, no way in the world. We have volunteers that are working for us every single day.
If you'd like to watch the full ceremony, just go to our website, WNCT.com. 2 NC State students are on a mission to make clothing that's fashionable and functional for people with disabilities. From dresses to shirts with arm adjustments and adjustable jeans, designers Sabrina Martin and Mary Grace Wilder say it's all about inclusion.
Our whole mission is inclusion and empowerment of all individuals and giving people the independence to dress themselves with dignity every single day.
They're now working to launch a startup to commercialize their designs. North Carolina is home to many musicians who have found a way to touch the world. One artist in Wadesboro is highlighting men and women who are leaving marks on the music world. This is Scott Nerkin. He's a Charlotte native who played music before creating the North Carolina Musician Murals Project almost 10 years ago. He gives places across our state a point of pride. Way up high in some instances, his elevated work in progress sparks an instant source of curiosity. Residents say they're surprised at times to hear some of the work that he's created of these artists have come from their cities and towns.
9 times out of 10 can't believe it because they're like, how did they live for their entire lives and not know? And that's why it's important for me to do this.
He hopes each piece conveys a little bit of our state's history that some might have not known before seeing his beautiful murals. Very impressive. A teacher is being called a hero after saving the life of a student. Next on 9 on the Positive Side, more on this heroic story. And a puppy saved from a fire has found a new home for now. Details on the man who's taking him in. A New Jersey teacher is being hailed a hero after her quick thinking saved the life of a student who was choking. The culprit in all of this, the cap of a water bottle that became lodged in his throat in the middle of class. And that rescue all captured by surveillance cameras. Andrew Ramos has this incredible story.
I was opening the bottle with my hand. I couldn't open it, so I used my teeth.
It's something 9-year-old Robert says he's done countless times. Use his teeth to pop the cap off his water bottle. But last Wednesday, inside his 3rd grade classroom at East Orange Community Charter School, the unexpected happened. And it was all captured by a surveillance camera inside the classroom.
The water squeezed it, pushed it, and then it went to my throat.
Realizing what had happened, the child jumps out of his seat, running toward a sink.
I ran to the sink to see if I can get it out, but I couldn't, so I ran to the teacher.
His teacher, Miss Janice Jenkins, quickly assessed the situation when Robert signaled to her that he was choking.
I didn't really think. I just went into action afterwards. That was when it kicked in. That's when everything was like, okay. That just happened.
With 2 thrusts, she dislodged the cap and saved his life.
The fact that he's okay and he knows he's okay, he's typical Robert all over again.
The incident, which could have ended in tragedy, has a happy ending, and it's being widely credited to life-saving training Ms. Jenkins and other staff here at the charter school have received.
You don't think that you're really going to have to use it, but thank God that we all are trained.
While Ms. Jenkins says she doesn't feel like a hero, local officials think otherwise. They will be honoring the 3rd grade teacher with a proclamation in June. To Robert, she's not only a hero, but a pretty big deal.
Happy.
She makes you feel happy.
Mm-hmm.
In East Orange, I'm Andrew Ramos, Pix 11 News.
You never know, what was his birthday?
My mom, I think she just passed out.
A Virginia 6-year-old is being credited for using 911 in a home emergency. In this video, you can see Jordan Eastridge running outside her home while talking to 911 operators. She made the phone call just minutes after she found her mother, Deja, lying on the floor. Jordan greeted Hanover Fire and EMS crews outside as they arrived. Deja says her life was saved with just one phone call, and it's because she taught her kids how to call for help in case of an emergency.
I don't think she fully knew what happened, but when we talked about it afterwards, that's when she realized, how great of an effort she did getting me all the help that I needed.
Jordan's brave act grabbed the attention of Hanover County leaders who honored her with the 911 Lifesaver Award. Great job, Jordan. She was also made an honorary communications officer. A Sacramento, California firehouse is adding a new member to their team, at least until this little guy finds a forever home. Sacramento fire crews rescued him during a homeless debris fire. The captain on scene knew man's best friend needed a good friend, so he called Mike Thawley at the local fire department there. Thawley is fostering the pup while an animal shelter finds him a good home.
Perked up pretty good after we gave some water, some food, gave him a bath, started picking off some of the plastic. And then yesterday, kind of personality started coming out, following us around, tail wagging.
And that puppy is just adorable. This isn't the first time Thawley has fostered a dog crews have rescued before. 5 years ago, he took in Chunk, an abandoned pit bull. And with all the stress in the world, there's nothing better than the comfort of animals sometimes. Even better, some cuddle time with puppies, and they are just adorable. Richmond Animal Care and Control held a snuggle day for those who wanted to spend time with the shelter's newest addition, 7 Pyrenees puppies. While there were more than 400 inquiries. First priority was given to first responders, healthcare workers, and people who had recently experienced the death of a loved one or were suffering from anxiety or depression. 52 people in all got the chance to hug some worries away. For many, they say it was much needed therapy.
Happiness has been the one thing that's gotten me here.
Next on 9 on the positive side, what's the secret to living to 100? Hear from a few women who've reached that big milestone. Welcome back. The one thing 8 women we're going to tell you about in just a moment have in common is their age. Each one of them is at least 100 years old, the oldest being 103. Now, these incredible women lived through World War II, 27 different presidents, and were all born before the first electronic TV came out. Troy Lynch has their story.
Over 100 rotations around the sun, and these women are still living their best life, laughing and celebrating each other.
How many do I have to have?
At least 120. At least.
I don't want to outlive my goodness.
There's a whole lot of goodness shared by these 8 centenarian queens who total over 800 years of life.
It feels pretty wonderful. I have no aches or pains, and I enjoy life every day.
Well, it just kind of came upon you. You really did really different, and I don't feel any different.
Dorothy Power might not feel any different, but she says there's one thing in particular that's changed the most since the 1920s.
Well, the whole world is different.
You go into a home now and the dishwasher's going or the washing machine's going. It sounds like a factory.
Do you like that though, or?
Oh yes, I wanted my washing machine. Don't you take my washing machine away.
Celebrating 8 centenarians at once doesn't happen often. Dr. Jean Wade told us that before COVID, the most centenarians they celebrated at one time was 3.
It's extremely rare. It is such an inspiration for all of us to see people who made it to 100. That's a huge milestone.
All right. So how does one reach this milestone?
Don't get into trouble.
Happiness has been the one thing that's gotten me here. Because the only thing that I've done any different than that I think than anybody else is I laugh a lot. And I try to make other people laugh.
And that was Troy Lynch reporting. Now here's a story that takes the saying like father, like son to a whole nother level. 3 generations of a golfing family have all hit a very special hole-in-one. Check this out. Grandfather, father, and son all completed the feat at the same golf course on the same hole, and even get this, with the same club. In 1999, 3rd generation Glenn O'Keefe hit a hole-in-one on the 8th hole at a course in Australia. But little did he know the significance.
Gave Dad a call and said, got a hole-in-one, I got my first hole-in-one. And he said, oh, fantastic, that's brilliant. Which hole? And I said, I got it on the 8th. He said, oh, fantastic, same as Granddad and myself. And he said, what club do you use? And I said, the 5-iron.
Okay, now that same 5-iron used to belong to Peter O'Keefe, who in 1982 scored a hole-in-one on the 8th hole. When Peter died, the club was given to his son, Graham, who used it to also score a hole-in-one in 1992. Graham then passed on the special club to his own son, Glenn. You see it right there, and it's such a cool story. You're looking at the world's oldest gorilla living at a Berlin zoo. Now, this is Fato. She's 65 years old, and at this age, the Western lowland gorilla is what the Berlin Zoo is calling almost something of a legend. We're told the average life of expectancy of this gorilla in the wild is about 40 years. So she's celebrating, of course, in style with a birthday cake, veggies, raspberries, and blueberries. I think she deserves some extra cake. And keeping with birthdays, Rico, the Brazilian porcupine, celebrated his 6th birthday at the Cincinnati Zoo. The zoo threw him a picnic with some of his favorite snacks and friends. Brazilian porcupines spend most of their time in tree canopies. They're experts at climbing, who use their large curved claws, bare soles, and a tail to grip the branches. A race to the finish. Ahead on 9 on the positive side, we'll take you to California for a unique soapbox derby. Unique entries in this year's soapbox derby in San Francisco, California. Devin Feely shows us the action.
Competing for also San Francisco awards like Most Amorphous, Most Illusory, Most Decadent, and Best of the Worst, the city's 2022 soapbox derby was a race to the bottom of the hill at McLaren Park, and fueled by art, irreverent humor, and a sense of freedom and fun.
It's an homage to one of the cars in the 70s. I don't know what to say other than...
we love a good bath.
We love a good bath. We're ready to clean the competition.
The race is a throwback of sorts, resurrecting fabled soapbox derbies from 1975 and 78. It's sponsored by the Museum of Modern Art. The cars are art meets engineering with a healthy dose of whimsy thrown in. And the trophies are art too, commissioned by the museum to showcase local artists.
You know, I was really interested in making an immersive space, an aestheticized kind of immersive cocoon.
It's said that beauty is in the eye of the beholder, and what makes good art can be indescribable. You just know it when you see it.
I feel like my life's mission is to keep San Francisco weird. And this is such an amazing event that is my people like my old next door neighbors, my high school friends, artists that I've known and worked with for years at the museum.
Devin Feely, KPIX 5.
And that's all the time we have for today. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope everyone has a great rest to the weekend.